Welcome to a late afternoon driving range session from Arabella. Why are we practicing today? So today's round was absolutely brutal. 40-50 kilometer winds and my golf fell apart. I think after almost 10 days on this trip, over 1900 kilometers, 6 golf courses played, I think my body was begging for mercy. And I could feel in every swing was heavy, every part very difficult to get to the hole. So it was all in all a tough day. And believe you me, there were a lot of times I felt sorry for myself. So instead of heading to my room, crying myself to sleep, I decided it's an opportunity for me to fix my swing, to figure out how to survive the next 5 rounds of golf by flushing balls like the one I just did now. And I know the reason I played badly today wasn't a lack of trying. I could blame the weather. I could blame the tiredness. But it's life. But it got me thinking. It got me thinking how despondent I was after 5 holes. I nearly quit. But also started questioning the entire golf trip, saying if I can't play Arabella, how am I going to play the rest of the courses? And it got me thinking, really, am I going to allow this failure to define who I am? I'm going to allow this high score, this bad round, define my golf. And I chose for it not to do that. Now, I could have blamed Arabella. I could have said it's a terrible course, the weather is bad, that's why I'm playing bad golf. In all fairness, this is a beautiful golf course. Top 5 in the country, amazing views, really amazing people I met on those golf courses. And the weather was tough, granted, but my golf couldn't stack up. My swing was very heavy. I struggled with the putting. I could have blamed the greens, but I have to also look at myself. And I have to find ways to get better. We could do better and where I can improve. But I think the lesson from this round of golf, or for today, is about how we don't let failure define who we are. How we remember that even the best of us, in terms of athletes, humans, people we respect, they failed more than they've succeeded. And imagine if they gave up after failing. So I'm going to challenge you not to let failure define you. And I think that's the lesson for today. Let's not allow people to define us. But also more importantly, let's not define people with the mistakes they made. So how often do you have someone in your team make a grave error and you define them with that error? Fail to give you an answer you're expecting and you start defining them as lacking intelligence. I think we're harsh and we're too quick to judge each other. But more importantly, we judge ourselves. So my advice is, whatever you do, wherever you are, remember that your actions over time can define you, but failure definitely isn't one of those actions. And I think if you asked everyone, some of the best sports people, ask Sachin Tendulkar, ask Michael Jordan, how many shots they've missed, or how many shots they've missed versus how many they've made, they will tell you a vast majority of the shots were missed. So keep swinging. And friends, believe you me, whether it's your boss calling you, whether it's your colleagues, whether it's anyone calling you down, reminding you what a bad job you're doing, giving you a poor performance rating, you shouldn't allow that to define you. I'm not saying you should deny it. I think you need to acknowledge the fact that you fail, but let it define you. Find a way to figure out how you get better, how you best use your talents. But more importantly, how do you leverage the knowledge around you, the network that you have? For example, I'm shooting one of these videos to send to my coach down in Win to have a look if there's anything I'm doing wrong that I could fix. Because you only succeed by not allowing failure to define you, but by facing the fact that you failed and applying yourself to pick yourself up to be successful again. So my friends, I challenge you to do that. So whether it's a tough work life, whether it's in your personal space where you're struggling, don't let that define you. So friends, in closing, I just want to summarize what I think the key insights are for today. Key insights is we're all going to fail in our lives. At some point in our lives, we're going to fail. But we should never let failure define us. So should never allow anyone to call you a failure because they define you who you are. But if people tell you failed at something, it's good feedback. Take it on board, figure out the best way to succeed. Now, in closing, I just want to thank everybody who has taken the time to subscribe to this channel, to support us, like the comments. This is a long route that I'm traveling, over 4,000 kilometers across South Africa by myself. And I appreciate each and every one of you who makes the time to listen. It gives me the energy to come out here and record these videos, even after a terrible round of golf I just had at this beautiful golf course. I feel like it's worthwhile to come out here and share my insights with you. So I do encourage you to ask your friends, your family, to really subscribe to this channel, switch on the notification bell, and support the channel, because that's the energy I use as I travel across this country to remind myself there are people out there who care. So please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you at the next stop.